No wife, no kids, no life, my brother's family declared at Christmas, taking my savings. Just a waste of space, they all nodded. I smiled and left. 3 days later, my voicemail was full of their desperate pleas. No wife, no kids, no life. That's what my brother's family declared at Christmas, right before taking my savings. Just a waste of space, they all nodded. I smiled and left. 3 days later, my voicemail was full of their desperate pleas. I never thought I'd be posting here, but after what happened at our family Christmas gathering, I need to get this off my chest. Fair warning, this might be long, but I'm still processing everything. You know that moment when you walk into a room, and everyone suddenly goes quiet? That's how my Christmas morning started. I arrived at my mom's house around 10 a.m., exactly, when she asked me to come. Only to find that everyone else had already been there for hours. The tree was surrounded by open presents, breakfast dishes were being cleared, and my brother Andrew's son, Christian, was already deep into playing with his new games. The first red flag should have been that they didn't wait for me, even though Mom specifically told me 10 a.m. This was our first Christmas without Dad, who passed away in October, and everything felt off kilter. Mom hugged me tightly, but there was something strained in her smile. My sister-in-law, Gabriella, barely looked up from her phone, just muttering, "Oh, you made it." Like I was some distant acquaintance who had crashed their intimate gathering. I set my gifts down by the tree, trying to ignore the awkwardness. Christian, bless him, actually seemed happy to see me, jumping up to show me his new gaming setup. That kid's always been a bright spot in family gatherings, but then Andrew cut in. "Don't bother Uncle Dominic. He probably doesn't understand these things anyway. Too busy with his, whatever it is he does." The dig wasn't subtle. I've done well for myself, working remotely for a tech company while traveling as I please. Dad always supported my choices, even when they didn't fit the traditional path Andrew took. But since Dad's passing, the comments about my lifestyle had become more frequent and pointed. Things really started going sideways during lunch. Mom had made Dad's traditional Christmas roast for the first time since he passed, and everyone was unusually quiet, until Gabriella decided to break the silence. "So Dominic, any special someone in your life yet? You know, at your age, you really should be thinking about settling down. Christian needs cousins his age." Before I could answer, Andrew chimed in. "Oh, he's too busy living the bachelor life. No wife, no kids, no real life, right?" He laughed, but there was an edge to it. The way everyone else at the table either nodded or looked away, told me this wasn't the first time they'd discussed my life choices. I kept my cool and focused on my food. "My life is pretty full actually. I'm happy with my choices." "Full of what?" Gabriella pressed, setting down her fork. "Working all day behind a screen. Traveling to empty hotel rooms. That's not living, that's just existing. You're wasting your potential. Your father would have wanted, don't." My voice came out sharper than I intended. "Don't tell me what Dad would have wanted." The tension at the table could have been cut with a knife. Mom tried to change the subject, asking about New Year's plans, but Andrew wasn't done. "You know what? No, we need to talk about this. The will reading is next week, and we need to be realistic here." He leaned forward, lowering his voice like he was sharing some profound wisdom. "You've got all this money saved up, no responsibilities, while we're trying to give Christian the best life possible. It's not fair." "Fair?" That's when I noticed Mom's expression guilt. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "What do you mean, we need to be realistic?" I asked, though I was already starting to put the pieces together. Gabriella jumped in, her voice sickly sweet. "We've had some expenses, Christian's private school, the house renovations Dad promised to help with before he, you know. We had to borrow against what we knew was coming from the will." My stomach dropped. "Borrow? From where?" The silence that followed was deafening. Finally, Mom spoke up, her voice barely a whisper. "Your portion, honey, they needed it. You have so much saved already, and they have a family to think about." I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. "You took money from my inheritance without asking me." "Borrowed," Andrew corrected, as if that made it better. "And honestly, what were you going to do with it anyway? You're just a waste of space in this family. No real connections, no one depending on you. Just floating through life while the rest of us deal with real responsibilities." Everyone nodded. Even Mom, though she looked pained doing it. The only one who looked uncomfortable was Christian, who had stopped eating and was staring at his plate. I stood up slowly, my chair scraping against the floor. The room went quiet again, everyone probably expecting an explosion. Instead, I smiled. "Thank you for lunch, Mom. I need to go." "Oh, don't be dramatic," Gabriella started, but I was already walking out. Behind me, I could hear Andrew saying something about me always running away from confrontation. I drove home in a daze. The time I reached my apartment, my phone was already lighting up with messages, mostly from Mom, saying we needed to talk things through as a family. One from Andrew, telling me to man up and face reality. I haven't responded to any of them yet. Instead, I called Dad's lawyer and left a message. Tomorrow morning, I'm going to find out exactly what they've done with my inheritance, and what they mean by borrowing. The worst part. I keep thinking about Dad's last conversation with me, just a week before he passed. He made me promise to take care of the family, but also to stand my ground. At the time, I thought he was just rambling from the medication. Now? I'm wondering if he knew something. Something like this would happen. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but I know I can't let this stand. Not just for the money, but for everything it represents. They want to talk about real life and responsibilities. Fine, let's talk. My phone's still buzzing. I think I'll let it ring for a while longer. Update. First, thank you all for the supportive comments on my last post. I wasn't expecting such an overwhelming response. A lot has happened in the last 48 hours, and honestly, I'm still trying to process everything. What I discovered goes way deeper than I initially thought. Yesterday morning, I met with Dad's lawyer, Mr. Wilson. He seemed unsurprised to see me, which was my first clue that something wasn't right.